Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nelo, and today I'm going to show you how to cut two type of illusion neckline, the off shoulder one and the one with shoulder. If you're new to this channel, please click on the subscribe button below and subscribe. It's totally free. Like and share my videos and also check out my other videos. So we are going to use the Princess That's Bustier method to draft this, okay? So as you can see, I have already mark out all my necessary points. Like this is my chest line, and which is 8 inches. Here is my bust line, which is 9.5. This is my under bust, which is 13, and here is the half length 16, and then 1 inch for hemming allowance, or for joining or hemming allowance, whatever you're making, okay? And the neckline is just the basic neckline, which is 3 inches width, and then for the front I used 4 inches, but I'm not going to be making use of that. You can always alter it, change it to whichever neckline you want to make use of, okay? So I just use that for this tutorial. All right, so you can always alter it. All right, so here is my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5 plus half inch for sewing allowance. So what I marked here is 4 inches, okay? And then I draw the line straight to the chest line, okay? So I'm using 4 inches for the nipple to nipple. And then now the next thing I'm going to do now is for us to mark the cup for this tutorial, okay? And like I always say in all my videos, to get your curve, you minus your under bust from your bust line, okay? So you minus your under bust from your bust circumference, sorry, not line, okay? Minus your under bust, whatever you get, you mark 1 inch at the center front and the remaining one at the other one. So in this case, the bust circumference is 34, while the under bust is 27. So 34 minus 27, what we have left is 7. So because this pattern is on fold, I'm going to divide 7 into 2, which is going to be 3.5, and then I'm going to mark 1 inch here at the center front, like so, okay? And then 2.5 inch this other part, okay? No matter what you have, always mark 1 inch at the center front, all right? And the remaining one at this other side, okay? At this side, 1 inch here, and the remaining at this other part, okay? So now at the bust line, I'm going to go up by half an inch and come down by half an inch. This is to eliminate pointness at the bust, okay? So now I'm going to connect my point to this half an inch I came down with, okay? And here I'm going to connect up to the half an inch too. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to connect this way, and then the next thing I'm going to do now is to get the midpoint of this, which is 4, exactly where my armhole is, okay? Where I went in by half an inch at the armhole, and then I'm going to connect with a curve like this to create the Princess That, okay? I'm going to connect up to the half inch I went up at the bust line, okay? Okay, so I'm going to blend the line together like so, okay? So I'm just going to blend like so, okay? And then at the armhole here, I'm going to come down by half an inch, okay? And then I'm just going to blend it up to this line, just like this. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do now is to go up by 1 inch. You can do half an inch, but I prefer going up by 1 inch. You can always trim it out if after joining and it's excess, okay? This is just not to run shortage of fabric at the armhole area, okay? Then you connect like so, okay? So before I curve my new armhole, what I'm going to do is to take my bust circumference divided by 4. The bust I'm working with is 34. 34 divided by 4 is, okay, first of all, I'm going to draw this down, okay, and then bring this other one down to the hem or to the folding allowance. Sorry, not folding, joining allowance. Then bust divide by 4. The bust I'm working with is 34. Divided by 4 is 8.5. And then I added 2 inches for sewing allowance. Then I'm going to connect this. So you can do it with a little bit of curve, not too deep, okay, because it's an off shoulder that I'm working with, or you can make it straight like this. It's still the same thing, okay, but I'm going to use a little curve for mine. Remember I said what I am making is actually an off shoulder, okay, but with this tutorial I'm going to show you how to cut the one with shoulder too, and for the off shoulder as well. So now I'm going to take my bust circumference divided by 4 at the bust line too, and then I'll add 2 inches for sewing allowance. At the waist, under bust line, the under bust divided by 4, the round under bust is 27, divided by 4 is 6.75. I'm going to mark that, and then plus the 3 inches, 3.5 inches we are going to be cutting out for the dart, and then plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. The same thing at the waist, I'll divide my waist by 4, and then I will add the 3 inches for 3.5 inch for the dart that will be cutting out, and then I'll also add 2 inches for sewing allowance, and then I'm going to connect the lines like so. All right, so this is what we have, and the next we are going to work on the illusion neckline, okay. So for this illusion neckline is actually different types, okay. There are ones that start at the shoulder area. So on the bust line you can mark, I'm using 1.5. I'm using 1 inch. You can use 1.5, you can use 1.25, depending on how wide you want it, okay, depending on how wide you want it. Like the one I'm making use of is not too wide, so I'm going to use 1.5, okay, and then here I'm going to mark 0.25, okay. So it also depends on what you're making. Some stop here at the on the bust line, while some stop at the waistline, okay, depending on what you are making. So here I'm going to mark 0.25. Mine is getting to the waistline, so I'll mark 0.25 here. And then at the shoulder, like the one I'm going to show you on the screen, one shoulder starts from the shoulder while the other one is off shoulder, okay. So you're going to check whatever you're making. So if you're making the one that starts from the shoulder, you just mark 2 inches like so, and then you connect it down to the one to the waistline or the under bust line. Like the one on the screen is stopped at the under bust, okay. And then the one that starts from the armhole, like the off shoulder one, you mark 2.5 inch down here, and then you connect down, okay. So you connect it down to wherever your own is stopping. So on the chest line, I'm going to mark the same thing I marked at the bust line, which is 1.25, and then I'll connect down to the waistline. So if you're making the one of shoulder, you connect from the shoulder down to the waistline, okay. So the one I'm making starts from here, the armhole area, okay. So you can make use of, if you want yours deeper, you can use 3 inches at the armhole side, or 2 inches if you want it shorter. So if you're making this one from the shoulder, you just connect like so down to the waistline or anywhere yours is stopping. If you're making this, okay, if you're making this, you connect like so down, okay. And then this is the one I'm going to be making use of, so we are just going to connect that now, okay. Said earlier, you can come down by 3 inches or 2.5 or 2 inches depending on what you are making. Okay, so now I am going to connect it down to the waistline like so. So what I'm going to do now is to blend these points properly. Okay, okay, so make sure you blend very well. And then now we are done with our illusion neckline. I am going to cut this out now. So for the neckline, like I said, you can use any neckline of your choice. Okay, so this serves as the yoke in case you're making with the yoke. Okay, you use that as the yoke. But what I am making is off shoulder. So mine is going to stop here. It's going to start at the chest line where I just marked start there. That is where my own is going to start. So I'll be cutting the yoke out. So this is what we have. So this is the yoke if you make it with yoke, but mine is stopping here. It's starting here. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out. I'll be using this one here. All right, so you make sure to add sewing allowance all around. Okay, add sewing allowance at the yoke side. I've already add at the bust part, so add here, here, and all these other points, all these other side. Okay, and then this is the back panel. I've already marked it out. It's just the normal basic back, and this is zipper allowance. The neck is the same thing as the front, 3 inches width and 1 inch depth. And then this is my armhole. I've already curved the armhole. It's like this because I'm making off shoulder. And this is the dart. This is just normal basic bodies. Okay, just a normal basic body back is what I'm using. All right, and then here I marked 4 inches, and then I mark half an inch on both sides for the dart. Okay, and then the dart. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my circumference. I've already marked my bust circumference so as to cover my armhole. So here I'm marking my waist circumference plus the dart plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. And then I'm just going to connect them together like so. Okay, just going to connect together like this. So the next thing we're going to work at is I'm going to cut this other part. Is not among what I'm doing. This is the excess, so I'm cutting it out. And then I'm going to mark the same thing I marked at the front. Okay, so if you're making the princess dart for the back, you just connect like so with a curve like this down to the bust line. That is for the princess dart for the back. Okay, but I'm not using that. I'm using this normal dart. So here I'm going to mark the same thing I marked at the front, 2.5. Okay, and then for the depth of the off shoulder is optional, so I use 6 inches here. You can use 5, you can use 4, you can use 8, depend on your choice. And then I'm going to connect with a curve like so down to the zipper area. Okay, like this. Okay, and this serves as the yoke. Okay, if you're making with yoke, you just use this. All right, but what I'm using is off shoulder. Okay, so guys, this is all for this tutorial. Remember, my zipper allowance is 1.5 just for normal zip, and then to eliminate bulginess at the back, so you go up by 1 inch. Remember, our back panel, our back half length is shorter than the front because of the bust, so I'm going to connect with a curve like this, slanted way, like so, and then I'm going to cut this out. All right, just slant it, not up to the side. The side seam should be the same thing. Okay, just at the center back. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this out. So thank you guys for watching. Like and share my video. Please hit the subscribe button if you've not done so. Share my video and also check out my other videos. Thank you. Thank you. So if you're cutting the yoke, remember to add sewing and joining allowance to your yoke and also the down part, the bodies. Okay. Thank you guys. I love you all. See you in my next tutorial. And this is what we have. Bye. Baba say bye. Say bye.